We are live. We're back. Today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite ghee recipes. There's a million and one ways that you can make ghee, obviously. And I'm not saying I'm a pro at making ghee, but we've been tweaking with this, mixing in turmeric and ginger and garlic and rosemary, and we found an awesome recipe. So I want to share it with you. So this looks like just traditional ghee. And by the way, if you don't know how to make ghee, Dr. Shalini Bhatt and I did a great video. Just click, it's in the YouTube card. There's a little button that looks like an eye. Click that link and you'll be able to watch that. It was a great demonstration. But this is so easy to make. And this is, even if you're not low carb, high fat, ketogenic diet, if you're not embarking on that, but you just want to get healthier, ghee is a great way to get good, healthy fats into your diet. And so what you do is you take, there's a million different butters out there. There's the, Irish grass-fed butter and all that, the Kerrygold. I like this because it's closer to home. It's not shipping all the way from Ireland. And by the way, I love Ireland. I absolutely love Irish people, but it's a long way to ship butter. So, this Vital stuff, it comes from California, or Texas, so it's closer to me than there's this other California product. So what you do is you just take out your butter, put it on a pan. And you got to watch that video, but just let it sit there and simmer for about 5 minutes. And basically what you want to look for is a change in the sound. So it's going to bubble at a certain sound, and then once it's clarified, the sound is going to change. It's going to be, while it's still, before it's clarified, the sound of the bubbles are kind of deeper and throatier. And then once it's clarified, it starts popping, like pinging almost, like a higher pitch. So you just have to tune your ear into what that sounds like, and then it's ready. And then what you do is you get a coffee filter. This is what I found to be the most effective. Let me just, it's one thing I forgot. So we have the Chemex filter for making coffee. There's a stainless steel filter that goes in the top. You invest in that. It's a great way to filter out the milk solids to make your ghee. So then what do you do? Well, how do you infuse the turmeric and stuff like that? Well, the ghee is very, very hot, okay? Now, if you add in herbs and spices and rosemary and turmeric and all that when you're cooking the ghee, you're not going to get it's going to change the flash point in the point in which it becomes clarified. So what I like to do is I'll take a jar like this where I'm going to put the ghee into, and I mince up turmeric. So you're going to see the turmeric at the bottom, okay? So that's Inez in the background. Inez, you want to say hi? She's being shy but noisy. So here's the turmeric root. This root looks pretty funny. And you know what's cool? At least on the West Coast, turmeric is in season. We're getting it from Hawaii right now, which is awesome. So this is the time of year when you want to load up on turmeric because that's when it's in season. A big theme of this whole channel of what we promote at High Intensity Health is eating seasonally available and as local as possible. That kind of supersedes all the different macronutrient ways that people achieve health. Okay, so you take your turmeric root. I would take about this much, okay? So it's a lot. So it's about 1.5 inches. Take that turmeric root, chop it up on your cutting board. Okay, we did a full demonstration for our members, so check out those of you guys that are Insider members. You can see that. And then what I like to do is mince it up very fine and then squeeze it. So you take your knife, okay? It's just me today, so if Sam was here, we could actually do a demonstration. But so you're gonna cut the turmeric root like so, okay? Slice it up, okay? Hopefully you can see. Slice it up like that, and then go, so you do horizontal, then vertical, and then when it's all sliced up, then you squish it down. That way you're pressing out all the essential oils. See, a lot of people, when they take turmeric supplements, they're not getting the essential oils. They're just getting the curcuminoids, and you want both the essential oils and the curcuminoids, okay? So once you have that concoction, you put it in the bottom of your jar. You take your filtered ghee, so you have the clarified milk solids, and you pour it in there and you mix it around. And you're going to hear the essential oils in the ghee react and they start cooking. And then you're going to get this cool orangish flavor. I know it's hard for you to see, but this has a nice orange hue, okay? And then what you can do is if you're making your fatty coffee, your bulletproof coffee, or anytime you're stir frying vegetables, or if you're having bacon, guess what? It's going to reduce the level of bacterial endotoxin absorption of translocation. So, simple strategy to just get more flavonoids and phytonutrients into your diet, okay? Now, we shared this with our Insider members, so if you guys go to highintensityhealth.com/insider, you got this recipe. This is another recipe featuring tiger nut butter. This stuff is amazing. So you can get tiger nut flour, mix it with coconut oil. It tastes absolutely fantastic, but if you want the exact way to learn how to do it, join our insider member area for $4.95 a month. You get access to this stuff. So that is something that's really cool. And now I'm going to check the feed here, see if you guys have any questions, see if there's anyone even on right now. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just seeing here. So 47 watching. Thanks for being here, guys. Let me check out the live chat. All right, live chat. So, hey guys, hey from Wales. Hello, everyone. Bad to eat the same food every day. Yes, it is. So when you eat the same foods every single day, friends, you can become more hypersensitive to that food. So it's always good. Again, a key theme here, and I'm going to share a video with you, I think on Friday, with the Mind Pump guys, Adam and Sal Stefano, about variety and variation and why that's so key for your health. And it's key for your microbiome health. Remember, your microbiome is pulling all the strings in your body. So if you're eating the same foods every single day, you're not going to create that dietary diversity, okay? What's the ingredient? Missed it, sorry. Jacob, what ingredient? So the ingredients are, you got your I like this Vital Proteins. It's grass-fed, pasture-raised butter and turmeric root. So that's a great way to just start to make your curcumin infused ghee butter. Now, why curcumin infused ghee butter? Remember, when you're having liquid fats, as Dr. Tommy Wood and many others have talked about this on our channel, you can inadvertently absorb bacterial endotoxins that can create inflammation. I just thought of something. Okay, cool. My audio is coming through both channels. Good. So that's why you want to infuse your fats with good phytonutrients. Like rosemary is a good option. Rosemary and turmeric taste so good, but not in coffee. So that's why I didn't do it on that particular time. But the cool thing is you can get different size mason jars, guys. Make your ghee on the stove. And one you have like a rosemary infused ghee, another one you can have a garlic infused ghee, another one you can have a curcumin or turmeric infused ghee. Believe it or not, in a bulletproof style coffee, you know, with your MC2 oil and all this other stuff, if you do the turmeric infused ghee, it doesn't make the coffee taste funny. It actually, you have curcumin, you have polyphenols from coffee, you have polyphenols, you know, from the butter and CLA. So you're getting a lot of different components if you can do the turmeric infused ghee in your coffee, and it doesn't make the taste any bad or worse. There's a tool I want to show you. Just give me 1 second. I want to show you this tool. It's a great tool for making coffee. It's this Cuisinart thing right here. Sorry to move all around. You know how I get in these live videos. I get excited. I just want to share with you so much. And anyway, this thing rocks. So instead of putting hot coffee in a plastic jar, you can use a Smart Stick, 29 bucks. I'll put the link for this below this video. So if you're watching it, come back to this, click the links. It's a Cuisinart Smart Stick for making bulletproof style coffee. It's really, really awesome. So again, turmeric infused ghee and bulletproof style coffee with MCT oil. What a great way. You take, you know, it's like coffee 2.0, right? You're taking something that you probably do anyway, and you're just adding more health benefits to it, adding more fermentable fiber for your microbiome, more polyphenols. So thumbs up across the board. Let's see here. Yeah, tiger nut butter is really cool. You know, it's a legume, actually. It's rich in resistant starch, which obviously, as you know, is good for your microbiome. So that's one benefit of the tiger nut. So again, adding in more dietary diversity. So instead of always having walnuts, Brazil nuts, sesame seeds, you know, pumpkin seeds, you know, pecans, you add in something else. So it's similar to peanuts in that it's not a nut per se. It's actually a legume. Click the link below this. I have a link to the tiger nuts that we use and we make butter out of. And guys, if you want to learn all these recipes, they're in our e-course. So these are the type of tips that we share with you so that you're not always eating coconut and coconut oil and just the same old bacon. You're having more dietary diversity because that is so essential. Okay, why ghee butter different than raw grass-fed butter? Yeah, so how is it different? You're taking the milk solids out of the equation. So small residual milk solids, casein and beta-lactoglobulin. There's other milk solids that can cause an immunological reaction in your body that can give you a stuffy nose, a runny nose, and can in some people create cross-reactive molecular mimicry, create inflammation. So long story short, instead of having just butter, ghee is going to help minimize the exposure to those milk solids. And so that's how it's different. Of course, you could buy ghee from the grocery store, but it's super, super pricey. So that's why I suggest making it at home, because once you get into the habit of it, you can do it for a fraction of the cost, and then you can infuse all these things like turmeric root and ginger and garlic and rosemary and make it taste awesome. Okay, guys, hello from Baltimore. What are your thoughts on buckwheat? Buckwheat, I think, is okay in moderate amounts. So buckwheat, obviously, it's not going to be a keto-friendly type food, right? It's a carbohydrate source, but it's good fiber. You know, fiber is good for motility, for preventing constipation. So if you like buckwheat, my wife and I makes a buckwheat raw bread in the dehydrator that's right behind me right there. And in our ebook, we share with you the recipes, and there's tons of recipes out there, but she's kind of fine-tuned one that's lower in carbohydrates and still tastes good. And sometimes on occasion, on a higher carb day, we'll do like a buckwheat pancake. Why the pink lamp? Pink lamp. It's called a salt lamp. So that emits, good ionizing. I can't remember which. I think negative electrons or something along those lines. But it's not going to affect sleep at night. So, sleep hygiene is so important. Great question. Who asked that question? Mari. Great question. Sleep hygiene is probably the most important thing that you should focus on in your life. I know a lot of you are low carb, high fat, keto dieters, and that's great. But if you're not sleeping well, your insulin and glucose homeostasis is going to be way off. So having lights like this around, salt lamps, lava lamps, things like that, are going to help you calm down at night, because during the winter, it gets dark. It's like 4 o'clock, 4:30 here in Seattle. It's dark now. And we got stuff to do, right? Reading and homework with my daughter and cooking. So we don't want a bunch of lights on. So we do the lava lamps, and then we also do candles. I did some, we don't have the candles out right here. They're on our table from dinner last night. But don't put in a NutriBullet or hot. Yeah, it will explode. Bulletproof coffee. Totally. Yeah. Great tip there, Frank. By the way, Frank's interview at KetoneAid is posting in the morning. I got all edited and ready to go. So that's going to be an awesome video. All about using ketone esters and how those are different than ketone salts and the benefits there, and how to test your blood ketones and blood glucose level. I realized that I was doing it wrong this whole time, which is crazy. So definitely check that out first thing in the morning. 6 a.m. it's going live. So you guys are going to dig that with Frank Yosa over at KetoneAid. So Kerrygold rules. Yeah, Kerrygold is great, right? But just think about the environmental impact. Again, I love Ireland. We've done many interviews with folks from Ireland. We traveled out there, but if you can support a local farmer or a local cow, you don't have this stuff being shipped over. Okay, so you gotta think a little bit about your environmental impact at some level. Not to say that you should totally avoid Kerrygold. I think those are very happy cows and probably make good ghee, and I have bought that many times. Is it true that turmeric powder doesn't work as effectively as it would without black pepper? Yeah. So to get turmeric absorbed, you need one of two things. You need fat or an irritant like black pepper or BioPerine. BioPerine creates a little bit of heat, and it actually downregulates some of the glucuronidase enzymes within the liver so that there's more free turmeric floating around in the bloodstream. And you can make your own bioavailable turmeric by just infusing it with, fat from butter in the context of ghee. So that's what I do. I also supplement with turmeric as well. I love the BCM 95 form of curcumin, and I'm coming out with my own curcumin product very, very soon for all of you, because I really think it's key for liver health. There's been some good research on curcumin use and how it affects the liver, and as you know from our last YouTube live last week, we talked all about the liver and the importance of the liver when it comes to fat and keto adaptation. And remember, your ketones that you're measuring in your bloodstream, that people are chasing high blood levels of ketones, are made within your liver, right? So you need good liver health. That's where having more dietary forms and whole food forms of things like curcumin and rosemary and ginger and garlic and these phytonutrients can be great for your liver. All right, so let's see if there's any more questions here, friends. Hello from Toronto. Hello, Catherine. Thanks for being here. I love Toronto. So someone says they suffer from post-Accutane issues. Yeah, so vitamin A, you want to get on a high-dose liquid vitamin A. Accutane does affect the retinoids, and so you need to, obviously a diverse array of foods in your diet, but retinoids and supplementing with vitamin A can help there. Okay. So Matthew says milk solids are removed for optimum fat burning during active portion of your day. Yeah. So milk can inadvertently, although milk solids don't affect glycemic levels, they affect insulin. They are insulinogenic, so just keep that in mind. And this has been long known. So cheese and dairy products, although they don't spike your blood sugar, they spike insulin inadvertently. So keep that in mind. Do not forget to drink your pee-pee. The taboo is over and it's free. Reza, I have a friend who's been all Nandor, my friend Nandor in Mississauga, Ontario, has been all over me about drinking pee. I don't know that I'm going to be there anytime soon. I think it seems like a good idea. I'm sure there are some benefits to pee. But this is real stuff, guys. People are really drinking their urine. And I might kick myself in 2 years by not getting on this trend earlier, but I just don't know that I could drink my own pee. I don't know. I just don't know if I could do it. So let's see, what else we got, guys? Your keto recipe ebook, blah, 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 is broken. It is broken? What's up with that? All right, Jennifer, thanks for letting me know that's broken. I'll have to check that out. That's weird. So just redo this. So Bruce says, I saw a podcast where Chris Masterjohn explains why insulin does not induce fat storage. Yeah, Chris Masterjohn gets into a lot of depth, right? I mean, he's an academic and stuff like that. But it goes without saying, the higher levels of your insulin, there's a direct correlation between body fat. So I'm sure in an isolated context, in a laboratory, but go back to the interview with Ben Bickman, actually, about brown fat. So I'm going to say Chris Masterjohn is wrong on this. Sorry about that. Who said this? Bruce Carter. Chris Masterjohn says a lot of different things, that are awesome. But I think on this one, he's going to be, I know scientists that actually have their own labs and do published research, like Dr. Ben Bickman. We caught up with him in August. In his petri dish, to make adipocytes, fat cells expand, he has to add insulin to the growth media. Without insulin, the fat cells don't grow. So, I know Chris Masterjohn goes through all these complex, esoteric biochemical pathways, but, talking to straight up real scientists who are publishing research in their laboratory, doing this hands-on, insulin causes fat cells to grow and expand and causes them to be dysfunctional. So I'm going to trust that Ben Bickman with that. You can believe whatever you want, but that's not just Ben Bickman. There's many other people that we've, had on the show. Jeffrey Gerber for another one. He's been studying insulin in his patients for years and has found strong correlations between insulin and weight gain, insulin and atherogenesis and heart disease. So, I'm sure on paper you can make the argument that insulin doesn't do this, but in the real world, people that are actually seeing clients and patients and doing stuff in their lab will tell you the opposite. Insulin does promote fat cell hypertrophy and hyperplasia and weight gain. So that's where I'm going to leave that one. Drinking pee sounds bizarre, totally, guys. Kidney health recommendations, please. Kidney health, yeah. So you got to think about what the kidneys are. They're just a big network of blood vessels. So what can we do to help improve blood vessel? Coenzyme Q10. There's a lot of different, obviously, things that we can do. Diosmin and hesperidin, that also comes to mind. So these are fractionated polyphenolic substances from the sweet orange. Diosmin and hesperidin can be beneficial for kidney health. Coenzyme Q10, as I mentioned. Regular exercise, and besides that, it would work with a functional medicine practitioner, figure out what, is causing the kidney health. But if you got prostate issues, prostate enlargement, that's causing, not enough release of urine so that it's coming backing up and affecting the kidneys. But remember, all the filtration networks of the kidney, it's like a bunch of blood vessels, that are a little bit more sophisticated and complex than traditional blood vessels and capillaries. But so think about ways that you can enhance, just cardiovascular, aerobic capacity and so forth. That can translate into improved kidney function. So guys, I'll be following the comments after this. I just wanted to hop on and share with you this awesome recipe. It's been just a lot of fun to make in our household, this turmeric infused ghee. And great interviews coming. Great interview tomorrow, as I said, with Frank Yosa, and then the Mind Pump guys on Friday. So Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're still watching now, please hit that like button. Leave a comment for me. I'll be following this. And then click the link below here if you want to learn some of the resources that I talked about today and how to get access to our membership area where you can get more detailed recipes and tips and tutorials like this one. All right, my friends, we will catch you very soon.